Hello, everyone, and thank you again for joining me on this new episode of. Really? Hello, everyone, and thank you again for joining me on this new episode of the Twilight Zone. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me. I'm the Sci-Fi Dog Lady, and today's turn is for the Twilight Zone, Season 1, Episode 5, Walking Distance. Now, this is an episode that I really have seen that you guys have mentioned. I presume this is a very, very fan favorite because I remember I have seen this episode in like one of the top 3 episodes of many lists. Probably not as many as To Serve Man. Now, this episode only appeared 3 times in the lists that I used to compile my own list, but it was in very prominent places. For example, it was in Vanity Fair as number 5, it was in Vulture as number 2, and it was in CBS as number 1. So this really gives me high hopes on this one episode, so I'm really excited to watch it. Today's snack are apple slices and green tea. Robin and Flash are just sleeping right at my feet. So let's get this done.
Between science and superstition, and it lies between the pit of man's fears. This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone.
Okay, this beginning was different. I don't know if this is because I am watching a recording, like I'm not watching it at a platform, or is it because this is one of the very first episodes ever from this series? Because this is season 1, episode 5. So I'm probably, I'm kind of guessing that it also is because, at first episodes sometimes seem different, like it happened in the first episodes of Star Trek, where uniforms were not the same, or changes there. So that's what I'm guessing. But it's really interesting. I really liked what this narrator said. So after I'm finished, I'm gonna have to listen to it again. That's not the kind of car you want to drive in such a dusty road, is it?
Whenever you're finished, Mr.
Martin Sloan, age 36, occupation vice president. But it's an exodus.
He's
Somewhere up
36?
the road.
He's 36. He looks like my dad.
Yeah, that's walking distance.
Well, sure enough, he got there real fast, so.
One thing I always remember ordering was a chocolate soda with 3 scoops. And it was only a dime.
Chocolate soda? I have to try it.
New York.
Oh, it's a milkshake. I have to admit right now that this is just the 5th episode I'm watching from the 60s series, so seeing that our protagonist is in such a good mood is kind of unsettling, because my first episode, the game of pool, the protagonist was not exactly calm. He was suddenly surprised, but he's not a happy person. Competitive and all. And then, the Eye of the Beholder, our protagonist, is going through a terrible moment in her life where the experiments done on her face have no success. Living Doll, the protagonist, is a bitter ogre, a terrible father. And finally, To Serve Man, our protagonist is in a ship where he's about to get eaten, and we still don't know why he's in such a bad mood, but he is definitely being cranky and all. So this is kind of a change. He's still resting in his chair.
Wilson.
Is that him? Oh, please, make that be him. Martin Sloan.
Sloan. You are Martin Sloan. Of course you are. That's the way I looked.
was cool. Yeah, I kind of sensed that because that woman's, um, the outfit and the hair that didn't match the 60s. It was more like I thought it was thinking like in the beginning of the 50s, but now he said it was 20 years ago, so that must have been like in the beginning of the 40s. Oh no, 39, because the first season was 1959.
Yes? I grew up here, Mom. Don't you know your own son?
You just saw yourself as a kid and you expect your mom to recognize you as an adult? And then you don't even look 36, you look like 53, man.
This? Brand new?
He doesn't get it.
Let me talk to you. Let me tell you something.
Good boy. That's a good boy. Oh, that was very Looper. Wow. Oh, but there's no permanent damage. He's walking fine. Good.
Maybe when you go back, Martin, you'll find that there are merry-go-rounds and band concerts where you are. Maybe you haven't been looking in the right place.
Exactly. Oh man, I know I took forever to react to something, but there's so much going right now. This conversation that he's having with his father is incredibly emotional. Not only are the two characters realizing about this time oddity, his dad realizes that he is indeed his son, that he is much older, but he's successful. And his point that he's making here, like, you have to leave this place because you don't want to make your younger self to share this. And this is yeah, like, you had your shot, let him have his full shot at life. Somehow he's worried. He's very interested in letting this kid know about, that he has to enjoy life, and he really wants to tell him. So now what his dad is saying right now, that probably he's looking at in the wrong places, that maybe there are merry-go-rounds and there are, these things that he's mentioning in where he is from. And of course he's not really talking about merry-go-rounds or anything. It's about things that you can enjoy in life, as he once enjoyed in his childhood, these things. I think Martin's search for something that will make him again happy or something is what is referring him to go back into his childhood and remember the good times when he was a happy kid, when he had no worries. Because at the beginning he looked, he had messy hair, he was dusty, he was, he didn't have a good appearance. And then now he's super groomed and he looks really handsome. He looks like a gentleman. And now apparently those things, his success, his apartment in New York, and the money he makes are not making him happy. So that's why he's going to this time of his life. So let's see what else happens. Now that looks like the 60s. Okay, this episode is clearly more in the fantasy. I think there is a kind of I don't know, probably a gesture to Alice in Wonderland with the mirror thing, because when he's about to get into Homewood, is that the name of the town? When he's about to get in there, he's actually looking through a mirror, and then he goes into the town, which is walking distance. I loved the way that it's presented. This being one of the first episodes, has many elements that are still very odd. And now this episode transported me to America in the mid 1930s. This was a great trip, to be honest. I think this is a very sentimental kind of episode. It doesn't really have any unexpected twist. The only part of Twilight Zone, obviously, is that he somehow travels back in time to his old town back in the 30s. Um, and then the conversation that Martin has with his dad, and the closing narration by, I think it's Rod Serling voice. This is clearly, a man's um, dreams of going back, of having one's youth and happiness. This is a man turning old, okay, and this idea of becoming old, of facing life from a different perspective, of trying to do something different, try to regain things that we used to have in the past. This is a very common thing, not only in literature, I mean in life. So I think it's more like this kind of sign of people really appreciating things that you used to enjoy in the past, and bringing them back is what makes it so good. I think this is why many TV series nowadays are trying to hit in the nostalgia element to be successful, because this is something that used to bring us, you know, joy, and they're trying to do it again. And this is like Star Trek, coming with new movies, or Star Wars doing the same with Lando Calrissian and bringing back Han Solo and all the other characters. Cobra Kai and bringing back Daniel Larusso and Johnny. All these TV shows are going back to our nostalgia, and this is a very clear and very important element in this episode, nostalgia. But it's also about how we're facing our lives now that we're adults, and how things are changing. There are so many desires of not having to die, not having to grow old, not having to have this responsibility. He is now vice president of an enterprise, and he's a successful man, but all this responsibility has taken away those things he used to enjoy. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I don't know. This is a very good episode. I was told that this is gonna be something that will make me cry. I didn't. I actually see it with a very, uplifting spirit when I saw it. Anyway, thank you for joining me on this new episode. I'll see you in the next one. God bless and bye bye.